Hi guys, you're welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today I'll be teaching us how to make this lovely dress. It's a basic dress but has an attached flounce, or should I call it's not a gorget, like an attached flounce to the front part of the dress. Okay, so let's get started. Now to make this, you need to have a basic knowledge on how to draft a basic dress, which I have done here. I'll just explain briefly. Okay, so for the basic dress, you have your chest line, the shoulder chest line, bust point line, then shoulder to the waistline. Okay, here, shoulder to the hip line and shoulder to the hemline. Okay, so for this tutorial, my shoulder to chest line is 8.5 inch, shoulder to bust line is about 10.5, shoulder to waistline is about 17, shoulder to hip line 23, 24, and then the hemline there. Now on the shoulder and chest line, I marked half of my across back measurements like that. Okay, same thing on the chest line. Now if you don't know how to draft a perfect armhole, I've done a tutorial on that like before. I'll put it in the description box. Now on the chest line, you mark quarter of the bust plus 1 inch for side seam allowance. On the waistline, quarter of the waist plus 1 inch for seam allowance. Note that on the waist. On the hip line, quarter of the hip circumference plus 1 inch for seam allowance. On the hemline, quarter of the hip minus 1 because it's pencil, then plus 1 inch for side seam allowance. Okay, so now I will cut this out. This will be the front pattern. Then for the back, the zip is actually optional. Yeah, so we're not doing zip for this tutorial. Now I'll be marking the back neckline. Okay, 4 by 1 inch. Okay, so I'll just mark 1 inch for the neck depth, and then I'll create the back neckline like this. So this is back and this is front. Okay, now I will cut out. So now that I've cut out, it's the back neckline I will use, and I have another pattern paper folded under here, so this will serve as my back pattern. All right, and then the one on top will be the front. So the only difference now is I need to cut out the front neckline. Okay, so let me do that. I'll cut out the front neckline. Before I do that, for the back, because the neckline is high and there's no zipper, you need to create like an opening. Okay, so I'll come down from the shoulder line by 6 inch. Okay, so I'll just create the opening now. Then I would give us a hint on how to like knit in the opening. So once you cut this on your fabric, okay, you don't need seam allowance here obviously, so you just fold like this, like twice, and then sew it down. So you can fix either a hoop, a loop, or a button or something just to secure the two back pieces together. So that's all for the back. Now to the front, which is the main essence of this tutorial. So I'll be cutting out the front neckline like this. Okay, so once I've done that, I will open up the front pattern now like this. So I suggest you do this on pattern paper first before transferring to your fabric, so that you can add the necessary seam allowance you need. Okay, now from the picture, the style line started from like mid armhole, but you don't have to copy verbatim. You can do it maybe same thing or come down a bit. So I'm just marking 6.5 inch from the shoulder line. Okay, then I'll come towards the hemline down. Okay, so then for the hemline, you need to put into consideration the seam allowance. So whatever you're adding there, make sure you should remember that 1 inch is going for side seam allowance. So I'll just mark about 4 inch or 5 inch. Okay, let's say 4 inch. So by the time I take off the seam allowance, I'll be left with 3 inches. Okay, so I'm going to link that point to the point at the top here. Okay, so now you could actually use your pencil, which is the best option. Use your pencil to create the sketch first instead of using your pattern master, except you're already very good at using this. So I'll just like create the style line first, then I can use my curved ruler to blend up. Okay, so please don't use marker. I'm using marker because this is a tutorial. Please use pencil, because definitely you might need to clean or something. Okay, so I'm just creating the style line all the way down. Then I can just use my ruler to complete um the style line. So here it's my long ruler. I'm going to complete it all the way down. Then the curved part looks kind of funny, so I'm going to blend up with my curved ruler like so. Can you see? So I'll blend up and I have a perfect curve like that. Okay, so this is the arrow. Now I'll cut out this part. Okay, and then we're going to be applying our slash and spread technique. Okay, so I have separated both parts. Okay, now we're going to be working on the smaller piece. Okay, and then you should use two contrasting colors for both pieces so that the design can come out well. And you should also use a lightweight fabric for the smaller piece, the parts that are going to be slashing and spreading. Okay, it makes the design come out better. Now I'm going to draw my slash lines. Make sure the slash line doesn't get into the armhole. Even though it could, that means to be creating on that design anyway. Okay, so just draw the slash lines like that. Okay, all right, so I think I'll just add one more or two. You know, the number of slash line depends on you anyway, so let me just add one more like that. Okay, so I'll draw my arrows to show the direction of the cutting, and then I'm going to slash all the way to the top, to the very tip here. Okay, now when you do this, you have the option of spreading it on another pattern paper, or you spread it directly on your fabric. So this is how it looks like after you slash out or you cut out. Now I'll go ahead and spread it on my fabric directly. Okay, so the more you spread, the more fullness you're going to have, and you have less spreading, you have less fullness. So this is what it looks like when I place it on my fabric. Can you see? Okay, so you could spread it more than that, and then you have this. Okay, now for the spreading part, the middle part has to be longer. Can you see what I'm saying? Okay, but the two edges must definitely be the same length with the pattern paper, except your seam allowance anyway, but the middle should be longer, you know, just like what you have in the design. The middle part is slightly longer than the edges. Okay, so this is it here, and make sure you add seam allowance, very very important. So now I'm going to get my other piece, that's the second one, and I'll show us where to join it. Okay, so now I'll take off my pattern paper from the fabric. Okay, now this is the first piece, that's the front. Okay, I've already cut it out on fabric. Make sure you add seam allowance, please, to the middle, of course. Now this is the second piece, the one that we spread out. So now I will trying to locate where the armhole is on the piece. Yeah, okay, I think I found it already. Okay, so there it is, the part that has the armhole. So now as it is now, you don't know where exactly to place on the second piece, because you know there's a continuation of the armhole on this piece. So just to make sure you're doing the right thing, you should get your pattern paper. Okay, now it's possible for the pattern to have separated because you slashed it, no problem. The part you need is the part that has the armhole, which is this part here. Okay, so you just place it on the fabric, then you can just use your chalk or something to just mark where the armhole terminates on the pattern. Okay, so I'll just, on the fabric, I beg your pardon, so I'll just use my marker and just mark that point, so I know that I will be attaching this to the second piece from the points where I marked. I don't know if that is making sense. Okay, so this is the point where I marked here. That is the point I'll be attaching to the second piece. So I'll just pin this. Now mind you, because the fabric is lightweight one, and then it's cut on slash and spread, there is tendency for the fabric to stretch, so you will need to pin it first before you start sewing, or else the flounce might tend to be longer than the second piece. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So make sure you pin it. If you just place it like this normally, you'll find out that this one, appears to be longer. So that is why you have to pin it. So after pinning, you set it to 1/2 an inch, and you're going to have something like this. Of course, back is back, no big deal. The main thing is this front here. So this is how the front looks like. Now I'll place it on my mannequin for us to have a better view of what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. Okay, you can see the flounce. Meanwhile, this fabric is very, very light. You can use crepe, you can use chiffon. Yeah, this one's like a bit heavier than this. This is just for tutorial. Okay, so I hope this tutorial was helpful. Please leave your comments and reactions. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and also share with your friends and loved ones. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.